From Nutrien Ag Solutions, I'm Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story from Monday, June 26th, 2023. Pretty quiet across the prairie here early Monday morning. Some very light rain shower activity across portions of south central, southern Saskatchewan here this morning, and we expect to see a couple corridors of showers and storms to fire up here later this afternoon and evening. But the story of the next 5 to 6 days is really going to be isolated pockets of hit or miss shower and thunderstorm activity. We're not talking about much in the way of widespread heavy rainfall across the prairie proper through the rest of this week. Now, temperatures early Monday morning, again, most mild across southeastern Saskatchewan into southern Manitoba, where we're in the lower 20s. Still find some mid to upper teens across just about the entirety of the remainder of the prairie here. So a mild morning for everyone, and that's going to be the theme as well through the next week. Temperatures generally 3 to 5, maybe 6 degrees C warmer than average. A lot of days with high temperatures between 25 to 30 degrees C in most locations. We'll talk about that risk for a couple of strong storms today across northern Alberta into far maybe northwest, west central Saskatchewan, certainly north of the prairie there in Saskatchewan, and then also parts of southeastern Saskatchewan, though. Saskatoon down to Brandon in southeastern Manitoba. Could expect to see a couple of stray strong storms as we head through the afternoon and evening hours. Again, this Monday afternoon and evening across these areas. Now, as we look at the upper level winds, this is 500 millibars, kind of the mid-level of our jet stream. You see a couple little disturbances I'm going to circle. Here's the one across southeastern Saskatchewan into southern Manitoba, and then here's the one across northern Alberta. This time of year, that's all it takes to kick off a couple of isolated to scattered strong thunderstorms. So as we move into the deeper parts of the summer months, the forecast becomes a little more tricky because we're talking about not needing a big trough like this or, something like this with widespread strong winds in the jet stream. It just takes a little ripple in the flow to kick off some afternoon showers and storms. And as I put this into motion, the week looks generally quiet until we get into the weekend, early next week, when we will see another round of stronger jet stream flow. So these little, disturbances move through the region over the next couple of days. And as we get into Tuesday afternoon and evening, here is the disturbance moving out of northern Alberta into central portions of Saskatchewan and Manitoba. So I would imagine Tuesday afternoon and evening, talk about the risk for maybe a couple strong storms once again across this region. Then we get into Wednesday evening, this little disturbance still continuing to slowly slide off to the south and to the east. And then we get a little ridging late week. This is Thursday night into Friday. This maybe would lead to a little bit more in the way of quiet and mild conditions. This ridge in the jet stream between the stronger troughs on either side. And then as we head into the weekend, this would be Saturday and Sunday. This is when we see those stronger jet stream winds now pushing into the prairie. This would, signal maybe a better chance for widespread shower and thunderstorm activity as we get into, Sunday into Monday, the first couple of days of July. So back half of the week into early next week, maybe a little bit more focused in terms of widespread precipitation. We don't see a huge difference as we look at week 1 and then week 2 from the European ensemble precipitation forecast. I'm sorry, this is not week 1 and week 2. This is days 1 through 5 and then days 5 through 10. So this takes us through the work week. This will take us through the weekend into the first part of next week. You see a big dry corridor here. Again, we're talking about not completely dry, but much more isolated to scattered pockets of showers and storms. A pretty similar signal here as we get to days 5 to 10. Maybe a little closer to average. A lot of that probably coming over the weekend into early next week with that next run of organized jet stream flow. Here's the next 3.5 days from the high resolution NAM model. Let me go ahead and bring this one back. We'll watch our little subtle disturbances this afternoon. Couple of pockets of strong storms possible in these areas. We'll go through Tuesday afternoon and evening. You watch this little disturbance come out of northern Alberta into Saskatchewan and Manitoba. And then this would be, again, as I mentioned, where we would look for that risk for a couple strong storms Tuesday afternoon and evening. This one continues off to the south and east by the time we get to Wednesday. This is probably going to be when we see a little bit of that jet stream ridging moving in, and that would lead to a period of more mild and dry conditions where not completely dry, but, more dry than wet. Those pockets of showers and storms are going to be very hit or miss as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Let's go ahead and take this further. This is Wednesday night. This would take us into the day on Thursday. And then, as expected, very quiet across the region. And then maybe looking for the return of showers and storms as we get into the weekend early next week. We'll look at that with the European model, a little zoomed out, a little longer range. This is your Monday afternoon and evening. This is your Tuesday afternoon and evening. This would be then your Wednesday afternoon and evening. That disturbance may be kicking off a couple of showers and storms still across Manitoba. As we get into the day Thursday and Friday, though, this is when we're really going to start to quiet down in most areas. This stuff is much more mist than it is hit there across southern portions of Manitoba. Can expect to see maybe some showers and storms developing in the higher elevations coming off the mountains, both Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Again, those much more mist than hit as well. And then here's as we get into the weekend. Saturday, getting into Sunday, maybe an area of low pressure developing across the region. I'm going to go ahead and hold off on specifics with that one. But as we get into early next week, maybe talking about a larger, more organized storm system across the region, producing more in the way of widespread heavy rainfall. So that's kind of the precipitation forecast as I take you through the next 10 days. The next 3 to 4, isolated hit or miss showers and storms. As we get into kind of days 4 and 5, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, probably going to be pretty dry across the region. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday into next week, look for those showers and storms to begin to increase in coverage once again. The European model, the probability of picking up a half an inch or more of precipitation over the next 5 days. This takes us through July 1st, this coming Saturday, again across much of the prairie. Not likely that we're going to see a half inch of rain here. A couple folks might, most will not. Where that might be most likely, some of the higher elevations near the Front Range in parts of Alberta, and then portions of southern Manitoba, where maybe you get a repeated round of showers and storms Monday through Wednesday of this week. That would maybe be the best chance to pick up some more measurable rainfall. Temperatures, I'll go ahead and play a 5-day sliding window of those temps. Again, going to be averaging anywhere from 3, 4, maybe 5 degrees warmer than average as we head through much of the next week. What that actually looks like in some of our cities here, again, a lot of days with highs between 25 to 30. 25, 28 for the high here in the next 5 days in Calgary. Similar look in Edmonton between 25 and 28 through Saturday. Saskatoon a little bit cooler on Wednesday. 28 today, 25 on Wednesday. 28 tomorrow, 25 on Wednesday, back up to the lower 30s for the weekend. Similar in Regina, and then same story here in Winnipeg. As you saw there, a lot of days with highs between 25 and 28 degrees. A couple days with temps warmer, maybe a day or two with temperatures a little bit cooler. And then as we talked about the precipitation, hit or miss the next 3 days. Dry late work week, maybe a little bit more in the way of rain and storms as we head into the weekend and early next week.